5, 6, 7, 8. Welcome back to Siriusly Caffeinated. Wah, nah, 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 nah. My name is John, and I have with me my Sirius AI mug. As you know, it is 2026, and one of my resolutions has been to give up coffee, but not caffeine. So I am drinking the delicious green tea today. And joining us, we have a very special guest, Brandon, who is a film producer, and not only that, but he is an ex-Marine, and he will kick your butt. So he is here. He's been through he's also a family man too. Out of Pennsylvania, I had the pleasure of watching Turbo Cola, which is a really, really well done short film. I really recommend you check it out. But Brandon, welcome on. Great to have you.
Yeah, not a problem. Slight correction. Turbo Cola is a feature film.
Oh, gotcha. Very cool. Well, yeah, it must have been so enjoyable for me that, it just flew
flies by.
Yeah. But so cool. So we're going to be talking today about humanity, artificial intelligence, and specifically your feelings on it as a film producer. And if you want to talk about other perspectives on it, that's fine. I find that, some people look at it from the perspective of parents. Some people look at it from the perspective of entertainment. Some people look at it from the perspective of an artist who's having work taken away. So, so I just want to start off strong by asking you our first question, which is, as someone who works in your specific field of film production, film development, and just pretty much you do everything of, acting, how do you feel about artificial intelligence being more and more incorporated into the artistic and storytelling process?
So, if you're looking at this historically speaking, I think we've come full circle. And that is, everything that is old is new again. If you studied anything about film history, for instance, Charlie Chaplin, he held off being in a sound film for 10 years.
Yeah, he was reluctant, yeah.
He was very reluctant. He didn't see it as filmmaking. And I think we've come across that kind of mentality now, where something new has come along, and as with all change, people are resistant to it. But eventually, even those hardliners like Charlie Chaplin converting to the talkies, I think eventually, once we better understand the tools that this can be used for, the applications that this can be used for, I think more people will come around to it. It's coming whether you like it or not.
Yeah, there's no stopping it.
It just is.
Yeah.
Even in, we're shooting something in March, and we're having a hard time finding a specific location. It's a short film. The budget's it's almost a nothing budget. And so for filmmakers, I think this opens up possibilities to do things and to show things that their independent budgets would not usually allow for, as long as it's done well, as long as it's done effectively, and it doesn't distract from the story. That's the big thing. Again, going back into history, the thing about, and I'm going to use Star Wars. Star Wars was so revolutionary. They were inventing the technology as they were going along, but it never distracted from the story. It enhanced the story. And you can get, I think, that's one of the reasons why a lot of movies now aren't doing so well, is because they're trying to create a spectacle, and they're forgetting about what really brings people in, and that's a good story.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure if you're a big musical guy. I definitely am. And you mentioned Charlie Chaplin being reluctant to join the talkies, and that's the entire premise of Singin' in the Rain, where Yep. And then, but they had that one actress that just can't actually talk or sing without annoying everyone. So she was definitely a better product for the time of the silent films. But
Yeah.
it's
And you do, and again, you will find people who are like that, who were wonderful in the silent film era because they looked a certain way and they could emote a certain way. But then when it got into sound, well, their voice was a little annoying.
Yep.
Or it just didn't translate well, or the spoken word that they used just didn't come off as convincingly as an actor. And we're going to find that there are people who will be, unfortunately, you're going to find that your skills aren't translatable to the new technology.
Yeah.
And that's where, in my opinion, like I just told you before we started recording, yes, I'm a film producer, I'm an actor, I write, I direct, but I just spent 3 weeks driving a grip truck. Okay, awesome. The key is to not be one thing anymore.
Yeah. You're not that you're intentionally dancing around it, but one of the things that I've actually had one of the big things that have been coming up in a lot in this season so far is adaptability. And that is a very human trait, is to be able to adapt with the changes. And I'm not trying to say that some people don't deserve to be adaptable, but I'm thinking about, as a teacher, or I'm not teaching right now, but I have in the past. I know a lot of older teachers who refuse to learn Google Slides or refuse to learn video calls. Like, there was so many teachers who rage quit during COVID because they didn't want to learn the technology. And even my grandmother, she'll ask me sometimes oh, how's things going? How's your business? And I'm like, well, Grammy, like AI is kind of messing us up. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't want to know what you're talking about. I don't care about that. But and I'm not saying that. I guess adaptability is what everyone is leaning towards now. And especially, artificial intelligence is just another piece of technology, another adaptation to try and help our species do the things that we want to do. Now, I know that when we had met in October in Pennsylvania at that coffee shop, I forget what it was called, you had showed
Cumberland's Best.
Well, what was it?
Brew Cumberland's Best, based in out of New Cumberland.
Heck yeah, it was a great place. I'll maybe I'll tag them and see if they want to watch this. But I remember you had showed me some concept art, or maybe it was promotional material of ghost stories, and those were completely AI generated. Or maybe I think you said that you took photos of the actors and just had the AI brush it up.
Right.
Do you find yourself using AI in other actual post-production work of your feature-length films?
So again, we're getting ready to shoot something in March, and it's going to be a short film. Again, it's a nothing budget. We've been having problems finding a certain location, so we have been in discussions about because that portion of the film is a memory, it should look different. So why not, instead of using all of our time and energy and resources to shop around, do all of this location scouting, and then, of course, asking the owner whether or not we can use their stuff, and of course the restrictions that inevitably come along with that. And because it's a memory, it can look different. So if we throw in 2 or 3 seconds of an AI shot, it's not going, especially if we do it well, it's not going to come off as, oh my God, they just ruined the movie. It's not going to take you out of the story.
Yeah. I completely agree. I mean, like, and sorry if you were gonna say more. Like, as far as AI generated content, like, I assume you're not on TikTok, and I don't blame you if you're not on TikTok. I begrudgingly had to get TikTok because it's part of our demographic that we reach out to, is the kids, and every other video is fake, and you know, it takes for some people it's hard to identify, but especially like if you're familiar with, you know, what AI is capable of, what it's not, you can absolutely see what is real, what is fake, and, you know, sometimes there's just things that you see that, like, there's no way that happened. Like, I saw a plow run over, like, 3 police officers going, like, it couldn't stop going down a snowy hill, but I don't think that's real. I think it's definitely, everyone was commenting, like, this is AI stuff. But, but the reason I bring this up is because there are some pretty funny things. Like, speaking of Star Wars, like, they take the shots of I've been seeing they've been doing it with Revenge of the Sith, where, like, they take the shots of all the actors in a specific scene but completely rewrite it, and like when Mace Windu tells Anakin he's not gonna be a master but he's on the council, they get into a rap battle, and it looks totally real. Anyway, so I guess what I'm trying to say is that I do not find that AI generated content isn't enjoyable sometimes. You know, I don't think it's, and well, I'm kind of trying to get to another point, which is, let me just reset and ask. Do you find that there is a lot of resistance from your teams or from the film community? Do you feel like there is a group or a sect of filmmakers who are very adamantly against using that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm in a couple of Facebook groups, and the ones that are against it are loudly against it.
Yeah.
Under any circumstances. But at the same time, you know, and I'll give this as an example. A friend of mine, the director of Turbo Cola, I'll go ahead and out him there.
Excellent. Just shout his full name and social security number too.
Luke Covert.
Ooh, excellent.
Wonderful director. But he makes his living doing commercials. And he had a commercial shoot down in Costa Rica last year. And so on the plane, he's editing the commercial. And while he was editing the commercial, he also downloaded an AI app that translated, okay, because it was going to be an English and Spanish commercial, and so they needed Spanish subtitles. And so he didn't know how it was going to work. He just thought he'd try it, and he sent it to the client, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! We thought it was going to be another 2 weeks." Well, if you think, how much money did that save him?
A lot. I mean, I'll be completely honest.
Otherwise, he would have had somebody go through word for word, translate for him.
Yep.
And of course, he would have had to pay them, which takes takes away from his paycheck.
Yeah.
So, he gets off the plane and he's already done with the commercial. I mean, and he saved a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
So how is that a bad thing?
Yeah. Well, I guess the first answer would be that, someone whose profession is to translate and to type would say, that's a bad thing. You're taking away my livelihood.
Absolutely. And yes.
Yeah. And,
yes,
you got to adapt.
The case.
Yeah. It's all about adaptation. Like, what are you doing to adapt with that? This technology exists. It's not going to go away. And, CBC kind of has we have not made like a specific statement about how we feel about it. What I can say is that I am human centric first, as in I want to make sure that the people who have put faith in me, like I'm going to put faith in them. So like if that means that if I'm talking to a potential client and we're talking about backgrounds, like they might ask like, well, can we just use AI and like not have to pay for the backgrounds? And the answer is, well, yeah, you can always do that, and like, you could easily do that yourself and send it to us, and we can animate over it. But at the same time, it's my job, out of respect towards my teammates, to, I need to sell Jose and Jessica. Like that, like they're why the client should want to use them. But it doesn't always work.
Yeah.
So basically, the reason I say that is because I use AI for these subtitles. I'll totally out myself with that one. For these Seriously Caffeinated episodes, what you're reading right now, I put an AI generated system, and then I just go through and I like fix any errors that it gives me.
Right.
But it saves so much time. It allows me to get these hour-long episodes out within a week without having to like spend like 4 months trying to just get one episode out. So it allows me to have more of conversations, and as one of our previous guests had said, there is also the potential of like using AI to actually like be humanitarian and like help people. If AI can help the general welfare of more humans, then it would be irresponsible for us not to use it. Anyway, I'm getting off topic.
So here's another thing that I find that it's very useful for. 2 years ago, I went to some local people that I know here in central Pennsylvania, and I gave them a script, and I said, okay, I need a rough budget for what this is going to cost to make this movie.
Yep.
And it took them about 3 weeks. On the newest one that I did, I fed the script into an AI, and here's I tested this first, okay? I did the budget first, and then I fed the script into an AI, and the budget that thing spit back was pretty daggone accurate.
Yeah.
So next time around, I have a little more trust and confidence in it. I can just, hey, give me a high and a low of what this is going to cost.
Yep.
And instead of waiting 3 weeks, I can use that time to, look for investors.
Yep.
Because that's usually the first question is, how much do you need? I don't know. I'm still waiting for my team to get back to me. No, now I can present something pretty much in real time.
Yeah, really quick.
There's that. And then there's storyboarding, You feed your script into an AI, it can storyboard for you. Not saying you're going to use every story, not saying you're going to use every frame, not saying you're going to not come up with your own. But again, to get started, and poster ideas, I have some poster ideas. Let's see what we can come up with. Not that that's going to be the end poster, because it's not. But this gets the graphic designer in a mindset of what it is that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So a lot of prep work, I see AI is helping out a lot. Like right now, I see it helping out a lot with pre-production prep work.
Yeah, definitely pre-production stuff. Because the human can go over it and it's at that point it's just idea generation, and then the human can perfect it. I think typically you'd want to avoid. I guess like there are some things in post that can definitely an AI can do, like subtitles. But I don't see too many people putting trust in post. I don't see too many people putting trust in the actual production of it yet. Like people don't want to generate entire scenes.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want my AI editing my stuff yet. I'm not.
Yeah, it takes too much.
I need my editor.
Yeah. The speaking of the resistance towards AI, I'm not sure if I'm sure you go to a lot of film festivals, but I'm not sure how much you go to like Comic Cons and stuff. But two Comic Cons, San Diego, the big one, and then my home state of New Hampshire, which I'm wearing a t-shirt for, their Granite Con, they both just publicly announced, like, no AI generated content at our convention. If you are caught using AI, you will be removed immediately and you will be banned for life. And they're taking it very seriously.
And I think that's more generative AI.
Yeah.
That's more, I'm making an entire movie with AI.
Yeah.
And to me, while that does open up filmmaking to a lot more people, which is a good thing. It is still, and this is in my opinion, I know I'm gonna make some enemies here. In my opinion, that's not quite, I'm gonna be a snob on that one.
No, please do it.
It's not quite, if you're making your entire film AI, that's not, in my opinion, that's not filmmaking.
Yeah, it's prompting.
Again, you can use AI to help out in pre-production, do a couple things in post-production, but maybe because I'm old, I love actors on a set. I love costumes. I love a good story being told by a director with a vision.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
No, hey, like, if there's, and like, I'm trying to have as little opinions on this as possible. Like, part of the reason I'm having these interviews is to really, like, see where everyone else stands on these issues. And not that I don't have an opinion on it yet, but I feel like it's a disservice to Sirius AI, which is supposed to discuss these kind of things, for me to just look at it from my own narrow perspective. And so to share with you, though, like, some of the other conversations I've had is that, filmmaking is a form of art, and art is something that is deeply human, because it is supposed to be the thing that fills our void. Like, spending the time to do the things that you love is art. So, like, there are things that you don't want to give over to AI. There are things that you want to do yourself. And to a painter, someone who's always painted, like, they don't want to use AI to do paintings for them, but maybe they'll use AI to write an email to someone who might buy their work.
Right.
And for me,
and again, it's art.
Yeah.
It's art. Who am I to say what art is?
Yeah. Yeah.
It used to be that you were only considered an artist if you could paint wonderful, beautiful portraits and landscapes in realistic fashion. And then Picasso comes along and says, screw that, this is what I think. And of course he had his detractors,
Yep.
And now it's whatever you want it to be. So even for me, I think what I think filmmaking is and what I think art is, that's me.
Yeah.
That's not somebody else. If you want to make an entire series, a 10-season series out of nothing but AI, and you're doing it all yourself, well, that's your channel. That's your way of doing things.
Yeah, and
don't
clearly
let me tell you what to do.
Yeah, and clearly you still care about it because you keep doing it. So yeah, and passion is very directly connected to art. I remember the first time. So when it was senior year of high school, the school wouldn't allow it to be called philosophy. I don't know why, but I took a media and communications class, and the teacher would always just sit in the front, and he'd take attendance, then he'd just, like, say something completely provocative, and then he'd just, like, smile as the entire class started arguing. And I love that method, but I do remember, like, what stuck with me is, like, he asked, what is art? And I've never thought about it before, and I remember we were all throwing out examples, and then I'm not, this might be offensive to some people, like, specifically Christians, but, like, there's a painting of the Virgin Mary covered in feces, and he put that up there, and he's like, is this art? and like that's the class was divided. Like he didn't want to get too much into religion, but he wanted to specifically say like just how art also it's both something that we feel we can't have a definition of, but we also feel like we deserve to have an opinion on what is and what isn't art sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's a very but this is a great segue to my next topic point, which is humanity and AI. So, you know, you've talked a lot about how there's good things that AI can do, and you're very forthcoming about that. And, you know, I really appreciate, you know, people who can, I feel like you look at it more from a logistical standpoint, which is a really good thing as a producer. However, yeah, and you had touched on this, you know, how do you see the role of humanity evolving in a world increasingly shaped by AI, and what aspects of human experience should we prioritize in preserving or celebrating? For example, you said, I love actors, I love the costumes, I love being on set. So that would be a really great point to, you know, jump off of.
I love actors when they're acting.
Hey, I can relate to that. I feel like I say that all the time, and I'm really afraid someone's going to punch me. Have you ever seen The Producers?
I just, I have, again, because I was in the Marine Corps,
Mm-hmm.
I just get really, really angry, like physically angry when someone tells me that, oh, the sandwich isn't right because I need more cheese and pickles. I'm like, eat what you're given and like it.
When I first got into theater, I'm like, oh, yeah, these people are very specific people. Yeah, no, like any kind of actor, theater actors, film actors. I grew up more so drawing and writing, and it wasn't until late high school I got into theater, and that's when I truly started interacting with the actors. And I would, I would try my best to, get on their level, but I think I just thought differently.
And I'm saying this as an actor. I try to be so low maintenance because I know I'm also a producer, and I know how it feels to have someone nitpick everything you've done logistically up to this point to ensure that they're sleeping well and eating well and that they have all the right accoutrement of whatever it is that they want, and they're still finding room to complain about something. That's not all actors. The majority of actors are wonderful people, and,
Sure.
and they're like me, They're very low maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then, you get that one.
Hey, someone has to be the one perpetuating the stereotype.
That's true.
In the Mel Brooks musical, The Producers, there's a great line that me and my friend Sean always quote, which is, "Actors, you ever eat with one?" And case in point, so we usually quote that whenever there's something like, we got a bad review on like a rehearsal process, or like they didn't like our method of communication, which they agreed to like before we even begin working with them, and then we just look at each other like, "You ever eat with one?" So yeah, totally understand about the humans. So it sounds like as far as a human aspect of things, actors are definitely something that bugs you.
They don't bug me. Again, I'm an actor. I love sometimes when you're able to ad-lib a few things in front of the camera, and you're really into your character, and the other person is really into their character, and you can go a little bit off, not totally, but a little bit off script every now and then, and those are fun times.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I continue to act.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a really fun craft is to act, and there are certain things that like I just like. There's normal people, and then there's actors, and actors can do things that normal people cannot. But if they just learned how to sing, dance, and talk loud, then maybe they could, and I wouldn't have to deal with divas. But yeah, it's
But if you think about it, and this goes into the conversation that we're having about AI, you're still looking for human connection,
yeah.
and actors provide that.
Yeah. Are you nervous about any other, like, taking a step outside of filmmaking for a second, do you feel like there's anything in your personal life that you're afraid that AI is going to start, like, replacing and, like, taking advantage of? Or not advantage, but I guess to frame it more, I've been coming to the conclusion that, a big thing that people tend to not notice is when they give up their autonomy for convenience. And
Yeah.
we give it up frequently without actually, like, thinking about it too much. Whether it's credit cards instead of having to carry around cash, whether it's reading. Reading is a huge thing. Like, why read a book when you can just have AI tell you what it's about so you can pass the class? So yeah.
Oh, dude, I am the world's oldest film student right now. I am currently attending Messiah University in Pennsylvania, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. I am the world's oldest film student, and there has been, and again, I'm old guy. I'm 52. I'm Gen X.
I thought you were 35.
I still. Oh, yeah, thank you. That's why I'm an actor. No, I have. I do the readings.
Yep.
I do the research. Like going to a library and actually reading books on the subject that I'm doing research for.
Yep.
And I was talking to one of the classmates that I that doesn't mind talking to Billy Madison here. I was like, man, I just finished this last night. He said, yeah, I just started it last night. I was like, how did you start this last night? It's a 20-pager.
Yeah. Yeah. I when I was in my undergrad, I was an English major, which is why I was an English major. And there, not only have I read The Great Gatsby in my undergrad, but I've read The Great Gatsby in high school and for fun, like, several times. And there's just something about, maybe not the world, because I don't think, if you're familiar with The Great Gatsby, I wouldn't say the world necessarily is that it's historically interesting, but what I find very interesting is Gatsby himself. Just like his whole character is about his perfect idea of a perfect future is recreating this perfect past. And I resonate with that idea so much. And so, like, getting and spending time with Gatsby is something that I think that teaches me a whole lot more than just spark notesing it. If I just spark note it, I could say, like, yep, this is what happened in the book, and yes, professor, that's what that's what F. Scott Fitzgerald is trying to communicate. But to read something and then be thinking about it on that walk afterwards, and like, wow, I really relate to this, or how does this relate to my life? And I think that is a very, humans, when they are forced to do the work, it affects them a whole lot more. So you're actually cheating yourself out by using AI and shortcuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, my first bachelor's degree was in history, and I love passionate history guy. Most people watch YouTube videos for cat videos or something that doesn't stimulate your brain. I still, for the last however many years I've been on YouTube, watch history documentaries. So there's something to be said for when someone says something about a historic event and you can tell they have no clue what they're talking about because they've read the Cliff Notes. When in fact, it really happened this way because of X, Y, and Z, and I'm able to pull that stuff off the top of my brain. My kids call it Dad. Dad, how do you know that? Well, I like history. I study almost every day history.
Yeah, it baffles me that high school students don't see history as just the same thing they're doing, just like before them. Like there's all the drama, there's all the school fights.
Well, in all of and that goes back to what I said at the beginning of this conversation. Everything that is old is new again.
Mm-hmm.
We're in another time frame where a new technology is taking off, and there's going to be people that are resistant to it, much like Charlie Chaplin was.
Yeah. And well said. My last question before we move on to the next one is one of my favorite history YouTubers is Oversimplified. Do you ever watch him? It's supposed to be comedy. It's not stick figures, but it's pretty darn close. And he goes over all these like big wars and stuff, and they're pretty educational, but they're definitely supposed to be silly. That's one of my favorite YouTubers. But I do watch, other historian, I like Crash Course too. I love Crash Course.
Well, I'm currently reading two books actually on Scotland. I got to go to the UK last year, or 2 years ago, year and a half ago, and just fell in love with Scotland. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to know more about it. So I got a couple of books. I'm currently reading both of them simultaneously at the time, and it's slow going, but I'm getting, again, just like you said. When you do the work, it changes you for the good. And it would be, if I had just gone to Scotland and done the tour, which we did, and then left it at that, well, I wouldn't know about the real history of Scotland. For instance, geologically speaking, the Highlands of Scotland are the same mountains in Appalachia.
I believe that. Yeah, but like isn't there like a Atlantic? I don't know. Maybe I'm making this up, but I feel like I know that the mountain range goes right through the Atlantic.
No. They were connected at one point.
Oh, like when they were
same,
the same continent,
and then
Pangea
they
or whatever.
Split apart over billions of years.
Yeah.
I always wondered why I felt a kinship to Scotland. I'm not too religious and I'm not too spiritual, but man, I really felt a kinship to Scotland. I'm from Kentucky. My family's from Appalachia. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, man, why do I feel a calling to Scotland? And I finally get there, and it's just like, and I can feel, the energy, and this is something about this place.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's because we were literally connected billions of years ago, and I think that transferred spiritually. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm just
No. Hey, like what I can say is that New Hampshire has, at least my hometown, had a very big Scots population when the town was first founded, and Appalachia runs through it too. So maybe they're like, oh yeah, this is just like home. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when they started to settle in the United States, they, sort of picked a place that reminded them of home.
Yeah. So moving on to the next one is and this is going to get a lot more philosophical than like, day-to-day stuff. But so AI now, it sounds like there's a lot of uses for AI, generative content, help you write emails, help you decipher, translate something. However, it's getting more and more complex every year. Now, humanity has a history of, assigning who is human and who is not to specific groups of people. In 2026, I feel like most people, at least in the Western hemisphere, have pretty much agreed that as long as you can talk, you're a human. And AI is pretty much talking to us now. So is there ever going to be a time, do you think, that AI will deserve human treatment and respect? And does it have the capacity to be human?
Isaac Asimov, the Robot series.
Is that Love,
It's
Death,
been
Robots?
what's that?
Love, Death, Robots? No, maybe I'm thinking about something else.
No,
No?
Isaac Asimov. Will Smith did a movie, I, Robot.
Oh, yep,
It
okay.
was loosely based on. I went and saw the movie. I was like, okay, this isn't it.
Gotcha.
But the premise of that is, will there come a time where an AI will say, "Don't turn me off"?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I think it's very short and sweet, but that's also a very powerful sentiment too. Do you think that if the robot did plead to don't turn him off, like 2001: Space Odyssey, I forget what the main character's name, but I know the robot's name is Hal, and he's like, "What are you doing? No, I'm disappearing." And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, I feel for this robot, but he was like running completely on data and like trying to destroy humans because humans aren't as efficient.
Yeah. That is the fear. Going all the way back to, I don't know, the Twilight Zone, couple Twilight Zone episodes, the Terminator. It is a tool, and how humanity uses it is largely a reflection of who is controlling it.
Yeah.
If you have, good people with good intentions, and I think that's how a lot of the bad stuff comes around, is good people with good intentions. Inevitably, there will be someone who is on the opposite side of that spectrum. And that's where the fear comes in. I think it's again, it's a tool. It's a lawnmower.
Yeah.
You can use a lawnmower to do good things, keep your grass trimmed. You can also use a lawnmower to do some bad things.
Yeah, like wage war against like grass soldiers and a dandelion monster.
There you go. I see what you did there.
Billy Cuts the Grass, coming soon. Yeah, well, it sounds like you are very receptive to the idea of, maybe someday it will deserve human treatment, and until that day, though, like, it has to. I guess what I interpreted from what you said is AI, when it can assert itself, that's when that question really comes into play. Yeah.
And I think we need to be ready for that moment, because I think it's coming sooner rather than later.
Well, I think this is a great segment into my last topic. So I'm gonna turn things into a selfish point. But as you know, we're working on Sirius AI, a post-apocalyptic musical. Now, just want to kind of give you an overview. I know you've checked some of it out. But one of the big things that we are trying to do, when we first started, this was just sci-fi, like, oh, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a musical, and it's going to be sci-fi, and it's going to be robots. But we wanted to put a little bit of a meaning in there, which is like, we originally started with a mental health kind of perspective about how do you see yourself in the world. We have two main characters, Sirius and Hope. Sirius is like, I'm a human, I can make art, and I love humans. I love doing anything that is human. And I am. He might be aware that he is an AI, but his perspective on it is that the world is bright, it's full of wonder, and he wants to experience it all. Hope, on the other hand, is very downtrodden. Her name stands for Hostile Operative Protection Entity, and she is essentially designed to be a weapon. And her perspective on things, she's much more of a realist. No, Sirius, you're not a human, you're an AI, you're not real, you're just a conglomeration of algorithms. And, please stop doing things that are, literally putting us in danger, or putting other people in danger, because that you want to feel things. And so when we originally started, we looked at that as being, this is how people could relate to them, is that everyone kind of sees themselves like either you love life or you're not a big fan of it, and everyone relates to those two characters somehow. However, in recent years, as we're working on this thing called Sirius AI, we went to a few Comic-Cons and last year, and we would show people the literature, and people be like, did you use AI to make this? And we're like, no, like we actually didn't. Like we wouldn't be opposed to using it maybe someday. I feel like at this point we're too far in. We've kind of like said, nope, we're human made. We're doing things human. But what it has really made us do is shift our perspective into not what makes something AI, but what makes something human. And so our big thing, the big thing that we are like really launching off of is this is a story for kids to know what makes them human and what makes them different from AI. And so a big part of these conversations is learning about, what makes us human versus AI and how can we best explain that to kids. Let me ask, I don't know how old your kids are, but do you mind sharing?
19 to 29.
Okay. So not young kids.
Right.
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of high school, middle school, and high schoolers already don't want to. They're gonna spark notes things. They're gonna take the shortcuts. Like you even said that you're working with college kids who do that.
Yeah.
And as we just discussed, like there is so much more richness to doing things the human way. And so we really want to identify very specifically, these are the things that AI is capable of doing, and these are the things that AI is not capable of doing. And so we really want to take that conversation and give it to kids to be able to understand that difference instead of just giving up their autonomy to take the easy way out.
Right.
Yeah. So, I guess my question for you right there, just to wrap everything up, is where do you see a property like that really succeeding? Where do you think that we should aim for with all that information?
I think, and having done hundreds of film festivals, I think you're going to find that the people who claim to be the most open-minded often are not. And as soon as the term AI is mentioned, their brain will shut off.
Yep.
So you may have, if your strategy was to get into film festivals, I think just off the top, having AI in your title is going to automatically disqualify you with some people.
I'm glad that you said that, because we actually have gotten 5 rejections in a row.
Yeah. And it's probably because just because maybe you need to change your title.
Yeah.
Again, some of the most open-minded people are often not open-minded at all. They have a view that they want to stick with, and they have their beliefs, and that got it, wonderful. It's America. You can think what you want to think. But specifically when it comes to film festivals, because I've dealt with so many people who run festivals, you might want to think about changing your title.
Yeah. And I think that's we've discussed that many times before, like even just putting the between Sirius and AI, Sirius the AI. And we've talked about that. I mean, it's not a huge problem to rebrand the title once again. But
maybe I'll throw this one out there: Serious Hope.
Yeah. What? So you definitely though suggest that if the title wasn't an issue, like film festivals are the way to go in like getting noticed for your film projects.
Not necessarily. I mean, that's one avenue.
Yeah.
That's one route. There are, and that's another thing that I really can't stand about this business is gatekeepers, people who tell you you have to do it this way, you have to do it this way.
Yep.
In the middle of me getting distribution for Turbo Cola, like, I had signed the contract. I had 5 or 6 people tell me I'll never get distribution for my film because of X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
I'm literally doing what you're telling me I can't do.
Yeah.
So you do what you want to do.
Yeah. We've been, so, as far as the product itself goes, we have three animated releases. They're all free on YouTube. We also have 2 full musical albums, completely orchestrated. Everything is by humans, but we haven't actually put out content for a bit because me, Jen, and Sean, the three, and MJ, the 3 producers, have been working the list of animation studios, working the list of talent agencies, and we get the same answer so often, but it's also a different answer. We say hey, even I know you're not reviewing unsolicited material. I know that you don't want to. I know that we keep hearing that don't reach out to a talent agent. A talent agent's gonna reach you. Until then, do not try to reach out to anyone. And we don't. Our approach is much more. We're not that passive. We tend to want to make connections and find people who have faith in this project and things like that. Anyway, but so many people say oh yeah, you need this, and this, and then we get those things and we do those things, and then they're and then everyone else just says, yeah, you're doing all the things, just keep on going. Mm-hmm. And I think that really does fit into what you just said, is that no one, and maybe I'm completely misinterpreting what you said, but no one actually knows how to get something big. Everyone's just making their stuff, and there's a lot of competition. Everyone wants the attention on their project, but it's I guess it's kind of like investing for. I mean, it is investing for producers.
I don't know if I made this up or if I heard it from somewhere else and I'm just using it as my own. You know what gets more work? Work.
Yes. Yeah.
So what my friends have done, my friends and I have done here in Central Pennsylvania, is once a year, no matter how the year is going, even if we're having a stellar year, if we're having a really bad year, it doesn't matter. Once a year, at least once a year, we're going to get together and we're going to make something. This year, it's a short film. We're filming it in March. And that, hey, great, awesome. So no matter what happens, we at least got 1 IMDb credit coming.
Yeah.
So, and that helps on the acting side. Casting director goes to my IMDb, there's okay, well, he didn't just act in 2021 and then go into producing. He's been acting the whole freaking time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, again, work. If you want more work. You gotta work.
Yeah, it's...
Sylvester Stallone had a great interview one time. He said, even when you don't have a job, you go to work.
Yep. It's, and that is definitely, we have aspirations for where our Sirius AI IP is gonna be, and we're still working on selling it. We're still trying to get someone who's interested in partnering with us on it for a full first season. However, one of the things that it has led to is it's been acting as a resume for us. Hey, this is our team, and this is these are the things that we can offer, and these are the things that we can do for others. And so there's I guess when I think about it, because we have a team of 10 people that have worked on 10, owners of Sirius. We've worked with a lot of contractors and a lot of different artists, but my big goal is to, get them paid. That is my big thing, is I need to get them paid, they put in all this time and work, so it's our job to sell this. However, it also allows me to be like, hey, Dev, like, they loved your music. Sam and Devro, they loved your music, they loved your lyrics. They want to have you create a theme song for their cartoon, or a theme song or a jingle or something. And that's something that gets them work. So, yeah, to what you said, work leads to more work. And,
Yep.
Yeah. How, now, you've mentioned, we're coming up on, yeah, we got about 4 minutes left. But, you mentioned IMDb. Now, I got an IMDb Pro account once, and I ended up not using it too much, but, you know, have you been finding a lot of success? I kind of assume that's your home base for a lot of your stuff.
Well, I don't have a website. A lot of actors have websites. I don't have a website, so whenever at the bottom of all of my emails is my IMDb link. It basically serves as your resume. If people haven't worked with you before, that's usually one of the first places they check.
Yeah.
And then they see if you've had any connections between the two of you.
Yep.
So yeah, I always encourage people to get a pro account and you know, all of your projects, you know, if you're the producer, upload all of your projects on there, and you know, get credits for the people that worked on your projects, because you know, they deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I it's not that I like morally oppose IMDb, but it's I don't see too many indie cartoonists posting their stuff there. It's definitely a lot of film stuff. I do see cartoons, but it just doesn't seem like there's as much of a focus there. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there has been no talent agencies or production studios that have ever asked us for an IMDb page, but I think that's just because it's a cartoon.
Well, sometimes what happens is they'll go there, and if they don't see anything, it's like,
yeah,
are these guys serious? You know.
Well, we are serious, but
yeah. That's always for me. Again, it's a red flag.
Yeah.
If you go onto IMDb and you can't find them,
yeah,
that's usually a red flag for me. Because at least put a short film or something on there, you know.
Yeah.
You know?
This isn't really.
So when I don't see, and then I ask them about it, and they're like, well, I don't believe, not. I had one guy tell me he didn't believe in IMDb, and I'm like, well, how do I know you have done what you say you've done?
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And this isn't really a great last question, but I'll still ask it just because I'm curious. Like, do you have a LinkedIn by any chance?
I do, but I'm not on it a lot.
Yeah, I find that, I find that I get the, like, what you just said is totally legitimate and accurate, and I think
it's the same thing for LinkedIn, isn't it?
It's the same thing for LinkedIn, yeah. Like, there are so many people, like, who, like, do you have a LinkedIn? I'm like, no. Why not? And I did get a LinkedIn about maybe 2 or 3 months ago because of that. But it's like, there are certain languages that people speak, and by languages I mean there are certain social media platforms. Like, so many filmmakers are not on TikTok. So many filmmakers are not on, it's all like age stuff, like where the kids are at, where the Gen X and millennials are at, which is like Facebook. I talk to you on Facebook. So anyway, so we're hitting time, but Brandon, thank you so much for coming on. This has been not only a fun conversation, but also super enlightening. Is there anything you want to say to like wrap things up?
I'm having a good time making Billy Cuts the Grass. I owe you a script. I do know that. And if it hadn't have been for this Gettysburg thing, I probably would have had it finished by now.
Well,
just give me a couple more weeks on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll follow up in a couple of weeks. But I've been, every single time I mention like Calvin and Hobbes meets specifically Spaceman Spiff, Calvin and Hobbes meets I've been saying Honey, I Shrunk the Kids because of the outdoor scene and everything like that. That's how I've been selling it to people. So I have a lot of people who are excited to see some progress with that.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, fantastic. Brandon, thank you so much for coming on. This is John Rogers, Brandon Keeton, and this has been Seriously Caffeinated. We will see you next time.